Today we'll discuss the angels linked to each zodiac sign, and as the video continues, you'll likely discover which angel is yours. Well, this whole idea of the connection between angels and the zodiac was born from the concept that we live in a threefold world. In other words, a world divided into three. There is the physical world, which would be the elemental world, the astral plane, which would be the celestial plane, and also the intellectual or divine plane. And in this idea, everything that is below is governed by what is above. So God would pass his influence to the angels, and the angels to the planets and stars that influence our lives and our daily routines. Well, this whole divine machine, this whole cosmic order is organized in a very specific way. On the first level, we would have the 10 celestial rulers who are the main leaders of each sign. And going down a step right below, governing the little pieces of the sky, each 10 degrees we have the 36 spirits, also called Decans. On an even smaller level, we would have the 72 angels of the Kabbalah. Each of these governs an even smaller piece of the sky, which would be 5 degrees each. And this division makes each piece of the sky shine in its own way and with a specific energy for each of us. Just like you could shine too by leaving a like on the video, subscribing to the channel, and everything else you already know, but most importantly, consider becoming a member here on the channel, where you get early access to videos and also access to exclusive videos like the ones that are appearing on the screen right now. And of course, your name will be immortalized here in the video, just like these people who are showing up right now. Another way you can help me is by buying the products that are showing up here on the screen. There will be a PS5, books, and more, or you can also check out the pinned comment, which will have a link for you. Well, for this division to take the form we see today, it took the union of several different perspectives throughout history, ranging from ancient astrology to even Renaissance magic. Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa is mainly responsible for the level and structure we see here, since in his book called The Three Books of Occult Philosophy, he ended up uniting the mysticism of the Greco-Roman gods with the magic of medieval Kabbalah. So he said that each part of the sky would need an angel or a living intelligence to direct its power. But this guy also drew from the work of other people, like Ptolemy, for example, who in his book explained how the stars worked. There's even Hermes Trismegistus. And if you look him up, you'll see that he's basically a character who is the combination of two gods, Egyptian, which would be Thoth, and Greek, which would be Ares. And in Hermes Trismegistus's book, he would talk about how to summon celestial beings to Earth using symbols and so on. And there's also a Roman scholar named Marcus Manilius who had this idea too, that each zodiac sign had a ruling soul or a ruler, but in his case, he used Roman gods. For example, Minerva taking care of the sign of Aries. And there's also John Henry Trithemius, who said that each era of humanity was governed by a specific archangel. And the union of all these views ended up creating a kind of perfect spiritual map, which the ancient scholars used as a way to know how to return directly to the Creator himself. Well, about the 72 angels of the Kabbalah, I'll leave that for a specific video because there are a lot of angels. But the other two classes, I can easily talk about them here. Well, according to Cornelius Agrippa, the Decans, which are also called faces, are divisions that occur within each sign of the zodiac, totaling 36 faces. In other words, we have 3 Decans for each of the 12 signs, right? Just so you can do the math. 3 times 12, 36. Each face is governed by a specific spirit or being, which gives different powers and energies to the sector where it is acting. Now, getting more into the practical side of magic, right? These influences, these energies, are often used to make talismans and images. When a mage sees that a decan is appearing in the sky on the horizon, right, is ascending, he can use the image of that decan and certain specific materials to attract wealth, healing from diseases, protection against enemies, and that kind of thing. Starting with the sign of Aries, everything begins with the fire element. The first decan of Aries manifests as a black man, tall and with red eyes, who holds an axe and wears white clothes to attract leadership and courage. Next, the energy shifts to a woman dressed in red who stands on one leg, ruling over sovereignty and responsibility, the expansion of kingdoms. The sign's power culminates in the form of a pale white man with reddish hair, who with a sword and a rope in his hands, brings ingenuity and harmony. Upon entering the land of Taurus, we find the man with long curly hair, carrying a sword and a staff to bless wisdom and agriculture. Soon after, the figure of a man appears driving oxen with a whip, symbolizing the production of wealth through effort and hard work. The last face of this sign appears as a man with a spear and a crippled leg, who governs concerns and the need for extreme resilience. The heir of Gemini makes room for intellect, first showing a man with two heads holding a book and a key, opening the paths of science and learning. Rest and festivities arrive in the second decan through a man playing a flute, but harmony gives way to conflict in the third face, represented by a warrior in armor with a sword and shield, who rules over battles and the destruction of enemies. In the waters of Cancer, similar sensitivity takes shape through a young woman adorned with jewelry and holding a flower, attracting charm and love. The second face takes the form of a man with a bird's head, ruling over cunning and business, while the last shows a man with a fishtail and a net, protecting sea voyages and the search for hidden treasures. Right after that, we have the Pride of Leo. Its first decan brings a man riding a lion with a drawn sword, generating military terror and victory. The glory continues in the second face, with a man crowned with laurels and a drawn sword, attracting honor, dignity, and victory. The cycle of Leo closes with an old and sad man holding an empty basin, symbolizing decline in domestic disputes. The cycle of Virgo brings pragmatism back to the earth. A young woman holding an ear of wheat and a lit lamp governs the harvest and purity. Right after that, the black man in leather clothes and a scourge represents judgment and the correction of mistakes. Finally, a wise man with a scale and a compass organizes honest trade and mathematical calculations. In Libra, the search for balance begins with a man standing, holding a scale and a book, ruling over justice and truth. However, harmony is threatened on the second face by a man with a wolf's head, armed with bows and arrows, who rules over surprise attacks and espionage. Excess and debauchery dominate the third decan, illustrated by a man riding a donkey with a glass of wine in his hand. The excess and debauchery of Scorpio begin with the violence of two men fighting with sharp weapons, who deal with anger and hatred. Endurance gains strength in the second decan through a man riding a camel, who endures long journeys of pain. The last face reveals the hidden side of the sign, the man with snakes wrapped around his legs and a shield, ruling over witchcraft and secret conspiracies. The fire shines again in Sagittarius with a classic image of the centaur armed with bow and arrow, bringing speed and military boldness. The fire shines again gently with a man who has bird wings and holds a spear, who governs philosophy and great spiritual journeys. The sign says goodbye with an old man, hunched over and wearing a dark cloak, who keeps ancient secrets and melancholy. At the top of Capricorn's mountain, the man with horns and goat feet holds a rope, emanating ambition for material power. Strategic planning takes to the skies on the second face with a man who has the head of a bird of prey. The sign ends with a shadowy figure holding snakes in both hands, ruling over bitterness, sadness, and distrust. The revolutionary era of Aquarius begins with a man with wings on his head, distributing water from two jars, bringing innovation and friendships. Intuition and occult science manifest in the second decan through an androgynous figure gazing at the stars. The end of the sign is quite dramatic. The wounded man, with an open chest and a broken staff, who rules over rebellion and social losses. Finally, the zodiac ends in the ocean of Pisces. The first decan shows the man with two fish heads and a net on his shoulders, ruling over the mysteries of the subconscious. The second face shows a woman crying and looking out to sea, symbolizing sacrifice and mourning through the pain of detachment. The cycle of 36 faces is completed in a majestic way, with the man wielding a trident, sealing his dominion over the waters and the hidden spiritual authority of all things. And the decans, as I told you, are not the main ones acting in the universe. Not even God acts directly, right? In this idea of the triple world from Cornelius Agrippa, God ends up spreading, so to speak, his omnipotence to angelic powers. These angelic beings end up shaping the planets, stars, and all the astral beings that end up influencing our lives here, being able to cause wars, diseases, health, wealth, and all kinds of things. These beings that stand out in Cornelius Agrippa's view are called celestial rulers, or the 12 princes, who act as chiefs and guardians of each sign of the zodiac and, using the constellations, bring gifts to the earth. Opening the zodiac cycle at the spring equinox appears the imposing Prince Malkidiel, who rules the sign of Aries and the month of March. On the sacred plane, his forces move in harmony with the tribe of Titan and also with the apostle Matthias. In the human body, his energy is concentrated in the head and face, which would be the seat, of the senses and determination. As the guardian of the first step, Malkidiel instills nobility and initial, unwavering courage, helping the individual align his own will with the divine purpose to break inertia and start new projects with vigor. Ensuring support and grounding, Prince Asmodel rules the sign of Taurus in the month of April, historically associated with the tribe of Reuben, the apostle Thaddeus, and acts by filtering the energies of solidity and patience from the earth triplicity. In the body, his jurisdiction extends to the neck, governing the throat and the voice. Asmodel supervises the celestial forms that grant power, dominion, and prosperity over practical and material matters, being an essential intelligence for those who seek perseverance and wish to build firm and lasting foundations in physical life. The dynamic Prince Ambriel rules the sign of Gemini in the month of May. His mystical correspondences link him to the tribe of Judah and the apostle Simon. Recognized in the occult tradition as the Prince of the Order of Thrones, he extends his protection directly through the aerial spheres. In the body, he takes care of the arms and shoulders, promoting the agility needed for movement and expression. Ambriel is the guardian of reasoning and the exchange of ideas, often invoked to repel negative influences, clear the mind, and grant vigor and eloquence to the words spoken. Bringing the embrace of the heavenly waters, Muriel governs the second day, Cancer, in the month of June. He is associated with the tribes of Manasseh and the Apostle John, and is an integrated member of the Order of Dominions. This prince acts as an internal cosmic mediator. His physical rulership focuses on the chest, lungs, and stomach, areas closely linked to deep sensitivity and emotional protection. Muriel pours out virtues that calm the spirit, being sought after to subdue internal conflicts, promote pure friendship, benevolence, and cultivate an atmosphere of deep family harmony. Overflowing with the strength and brilliance of fire, Prince Verkiel rules the sign of Leo and the month of July. His sacred connections link him to the tribe of Azer and to the Apostle Peter. As one of the prominent members of the Order of Powers, he acts as a direct channel that transmits majesty and solar vitality to the lower world. In the body, his energy manifests in the heart, liver, and back. Verkiel governs the central will of man, offering gifts of magnanimity, honor, and courage to all those who seek victory and recognition in great undertakings. The meticulous Prince Amaliel rules the sign of Virgo and the month of August, spiritually connecting to the tribe of Simeon and the Apostle Andrew. In the human microcosm, his physical influence extends to the intestines and the pit of the stomach, governing the biological and spiritual processes of analysis, sorting, and purification. Amaliel coordinates the virtues that allow success in the meticulous organization of routine and in the practical cultivation of the earth. He acts as a wise guide who leads man to material wealth and the refinement of character through dedicated work and true humility. Seeking perfect harmony, Prince Zuriel rules the sign of Libra and the month of September. His correspondences connect the tribe of Zebulon and the Apostle Bartholomew. In the human body, he rules the kidneys, thighs, and buttocks, parts that support the balance of walking. Zuriel acts as the great sentinel of justice and social diplomacy, and he is the protector invoked to support, comfort, and vindicate the afflicted in the face of the forces of oppression, allowing peace and collective security to be maintained through balanced and thoughtful judgment. Diving into the deep waters of transformation, Prince Barbiel rules Scorpio and the month of October. He is associated with the tribe of Issachar and the Apostle Philip. Described as one of the chiefs of the Order of Virtues, Barbiel manages the intense emotional dynamics and the cycle of death and rebirth. In the body, his rule is focused on the genitals and the womb, the sanctuaries of procreation. He acts by warding off the energies of impious spirits, granting those who invoke him a deep memory and the rare ability to understand and uncover hidden truths. Prince Barbiel, or Prince Issachar Adnakiel, this Prince of Fire, rules Sagittarius in the month of November. His sacred connections include the tribe of Gad and the apostle James the Greater. In the human body, he exerts his power over the thighs and groin, essential body parts for movement, progress, and long walks. Adavakiel instills unwavering courage and cunning in the human chest, acting as a protector of travelers and philosophers, driving the soul to seek spiritual freedom and higher wisdom amid ignorance. The sober and prudent Aniel rules the sign of Capricorn and the month of December and is connected to the tribe of Ephraim and the apostle Thomas, standing out as one of the chiefs of the orders of principalities and virtues. His bodily rulership falls specifically over the knee, symbolizing flexibility, structure, and the resilience needed to bear great burdens. Aniel coordinates the forces of stability and firm judgment, helping the human soul to consolidate its authority and achievements in the material world through patience, time, and justice. Bringing the breeze of innovation and community, Prince Cambiel rules the second decan of Aquarius, the month of January. His sacred connections are woven with the tribe of Benjamin and the apostle Matthew. In the human body, he takes care of the legs and shins, which support the body to walk in new directions. Cambiel acts by promoting peaceful harmony, mutual cooperation, and faith in tomorrow. He acts as an intelligence focused on intellectual gain, stimulating humanity's progress, the reform of old customs, and the harmonization of social relations. Bringing the great astrological journey to a golden close, the compassionate Prince Barkiel rules Pisces and the month of February. He's linked to the tribe of Naphtali and the apostle James the Less. He is also recognized as one of the 7 great principal archangels of heaven and the ruler of the planet Jupiter. His physical domain is over the feet, the foundation that treads the earth. In Pisces, Barkiel's mission is to bring merciful rest and final delight. He guides souls from repentance to hope, helping them complete their cycle and achieve spiritual transcendence. If you watch this far, please like, subscribe, and share. See you next time. If you watched the video up to this point, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time.